Okay, we're back. We're going to be doing the mods to the Stranger Things. I was originally thinking, shaker motor and hook up the subwoofer wire first. And then I started opening up the box. The UV kit was on top. Makes sense. It's lighter. So went ahead, started unpackaging it. Went ahead, removed all the plastic film that's on both sides of everything. Getting this kind of cleaned up. So I'm sure it's step-by-step instructions. It's pretty easy. But, okay, I don't know, there's probably going to be somebody else's video that's better for instructions than me. But I know the first thing, you can go ahead and replace these. These don't need done in any specific time. 2 lowers. But then you need to remove, the ramp, and then start removing all the plastics. The plastics, once you take those off, you can go ahead and put the other ones back on. To go ahead and take the plastics off, put the other ones back on. But you got to do the ramps first. So let's go ahead and get I'll just go ahead and remove everything. So get the 2 ramps out of here, get all the plastics off, and we'll swap everything out. See you in a minute. Okay, so here it is with the ramps removed. I mean, they're clear ramps, so it's not really a huge difference. But essentially, it was just kind of like Phillips. That ramp comes out. You do have to unplug flasher here. And there's a flasher that comes around and goes back under here. And over here is just a couple Phillips. I think there's a Phillips back there. Flasher comes out. So now we can go ahead and just do all the plastics. So, yeah, and this is the reason why I wanted to wait and do the art blades last, because we're going to be lifting and lowering this a bunch. One other thing I will do, they have these all the way back. That's, the hardest setting. I'm going to go ahead and just move it to the middle for now. See how that goes. I do like to be able to make it pretty far in here on this game, so I may end up moving it to the easiest setting, but we'll see how brutal it is once I get it all dialed in. And once I have some of the plastics removed, I may go ahead and do some of the purple rubbers down here that you can see. I think I might just do the easy ones, just do a couple. It may end up just being like the 2 flippers, the 2 slings, maybe that bumper, not worry about the rest of it. So maybe like these little posts right here, like that little post. I'll have those off anyway to do the 1/4 inch socket on there. So we'll do a couple of those too. Just do from here down, just the easy stuff. Because besides that, you just kind of have like some stand-ups, sleeves up here. I mean, there's stuff hidden way down in there that you're never going to see. Why bother? So, but, okay. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and do, I tell you what, let me grab, I already did, I can't pick it up, I don't have fingernails. Okay, I'll show you the difference on why you need to replace these in a minute. Hold on. Okay, so here you have the left sling. And can you see any difference? No? Okay, all the lights are on in here. You see the difference yet? So yeah, you got all that stuff starts to appear. Whoops, I can't really. Yeah. So you get the whole, and it's like that on all of them. So that's why, blacklight stuff. So there you go. Okay, I'm trying to figure out a way to show you these. These are the radiant rings. So I'm gonna be doing some of these. They're purple. And then we go into black light, they turn pink. I'm trying to move the camera in my hand at the same time, that way it kind of stays in focus. So yeah, they just turn pink. Okay, well, there you go. There's all the plastics. The black light's only hitting about here though, but so the only thing you really can't see is this piece going up in here. But yeah, you can see the purple has turned pink, and all the slings, or all the plastics are now changed. So next we'll have to do the apron and put the metal rails with the lights on them, actually on the ramps. So, and here I'll turn the lights on. There you go. Just look normal. So yeah, apron, metal rails. So we got to relocate this. Like I said, I'm just going to try to put it in the coin door maybe. Well, I know it's going to go in the coin door, but I'm hoping I can just like leave it loose so other people can use it. And I still got to register this thing. I haven't even turned it on yet. So there we go. Okay, so it's probably been about a half an hour or so. I got the ramps put back in, plastics, you already saw that. You can kind of see in there, there's the back side of it. So there's the black side. Then got the flasher wires and the new black light wires already ran through. Here's the flasher, it's hooked back up. That's gonna be for the UV. So you had another flasher down here, another flasher up here, and then here's my UV. So, and then for the apron, you got UV cable here, kind of a UV cable coming up there. So now I have to install this little board. It's got some harnesses so you can get it all to where it needs to go, reach everything. Then you got screws to put this onto the wood and a bunch of zip ties. So let's go ahead and get that done. We're almost there. There's the old apron. And the UV kit is installed. Basically, this board right here had to get screwed in. It comes with the wood screws, and the play field is already dimpled for where the screws go. Then inside this bundle right here, you cut like 2 zip ties, and you'll find this black and gray like power supply plug, and you'll find a couple, this brown and yellow and that brown and yellow over there. It plugs into the board. You know, it's basically going to be like your switch. It's going to tell the board when to turn on and off. And then you have this 4 wires going to this one, 4 wires going to that one. That's basically, you've got one going right here to this rail, one going over here to that rail. It's the brown and yellow wire that's kind of hidden. Then up here you have another brown and yellow coming up right in this area. I mean, I zip tied everything up. There's a connector. So that's going to part of the apron. Then you got another one that comes up and over around, and that's plugged into the other apron over there. So UV kit should be 100% done now. So since the play field's up, let's go ahead and I need to do the shaker motor, which it just screws down to those 4 right there. You got a wire that comes around and plugs in. Usually I keep these on each game, but I let it go with one of my last ones. So yeah, screws in right there. Then you got a wire that goes over and plugs into that board right there. And then for my Polk subwoofers, I just have a set of alligator clips. They plug in right there. And then I'll run it back, and there's a grill back there, and you can kind of squeeze it around the grill out the hole down the bottom, and it'll plug into the high level input on the back of the Polk subwoofer. So let me go ahead and do that. I need to unpack the shaker, and then I'll kind of show you what it looks like all pulled apart. Okay, with the shaker motor, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is, you know, basically got the shaker cable coming out. got your protective box here, and then just, you know, some screws. So basically this, take it over here, almost looks like you're putting it upside down because you expect that to be the top, but it is not. The wire goes towards the cabinet. That's basically going to go right there. I'm going to screw that down. That wire is going to come over, go through all these P-clips, come up to this harness over here, down. Then it's going to go into that plug right there. So I think probably the only plug it fits into realistically, but that's all there is to it on that. So 4 screws, put the lid on, run the wire over, plug it in. So see you in a minute. I forgot to mention, I'm going to give you guys a little trick to doing these, because if you put the shaker in there and then you're trying to do the screws, it's really hard to get your hand down in there and the tool and everything in there. So actually take the shaker motor out while you have it in your hand, put all 4 screws in, and then take it over and set it down, and the screws will drop in enough to stay in place. So then you don't have to try to hold them in place while you put the screws in. So, because that's what I'm about to do right now, because I was like, oh, that's annoying. So yeah, take the shaker out, drop the 4 screws in, and then just with the 4 screws hanging down, just line them up and drop them into the holes a little bit as you put all 4 in at once. So a lot easier. Okay, so like I said, all I did was put the 4 screws through the metal bracket and then set it down into place. And I mean, look how far those are in, and I haven't started to screw them down yet at all. So, because those are over 1 inch long. They are barely sticking up. So, because they got to reach the T-nuts that are already installed in the cabinet. So, I don't have to worry about holding those in place. Just tighten them down. Okay, so I got the cover on. Got that wire ran over here for all the P-clips. Comes up and around, plugs in right there. That plug is keyed, so you can only put it in one way. No big deal. And then that's just a set of speaker wires that I made. Well, that I had the speaker wire, but then I added alligator clips on the end. This white tab is labeled positive, negative. Also, typically the negative is going to be marked, you know, with a black stripe. That's just an audio signal, so if you get them backwards, it's not the end of the world, but it will be out of phase and it just won't sound that good. So, which maybe in the long term, you know, could damage your speaker over time. But anyway, this is just gonna read the signal to the amplifier that's gonna be built into the sub. Then I just take it back there and drop it through the, there's a little mesh grill back there you can kind of lift up, slide it through. So the next thing we have, the last thing we have, art blades. And then probably just start updating stuff. So art blades, a little annoying. I'm not gonna, you know, well, I haven't really been videotaping any of this stuff as I go, but I'll move the playfield to one side, like closer to me, work on that side over there, push it away, do that side over there. Normally what I do, there's holes in the art blade line up here. So I'll start by just barely touching it right there on the, you know, get the art blade and just barely touch around that hole, make sure it's lined up there. And then you'll just have like a 1/16 of an inch line, black line all the way down, you know, underneath this lip, and then just lightly get it on there. Some people use, you know, like a water, like whatever stuff, and squeegee it down, and they are extremely sticky. Take other people's advice on how you want to do that. I've never really had a problem. I've done tons of vinyl sticker graphics, pinstriping on cars, so I just kind of lightly touch it, get it all aligned by eye. I've done them for my friends and they're just, whoa, you know, I don't know. I've done a bunch of them. So I've done a lot of decals and aligning and stickers and stuff in my life. So it's not that bad for me, but it's still not fun. Just kind of, it is a little bit stressful, but let's get it done. See you in a second. Okay, so the way I do it is now the playfield's closest to me, and I've kind of set it down in place. I'm lining up that hole right there, making sure that's perfect. And I'm kind of just looking at like how much of a gap is, I can't really point it out to you, but you know, you can see that white line right there, and how there's about 1/8 of an inch gap to the right. Well, I have my right arm down here, and I'm making sure that down here, you know, whoops, down here is also about 1/8. Because you don't want to have that circle lined up and then the whole thing's like tilted down or up or whatever. So you got to make sure that that's staying at the same. So I'm just kind of like hugging the play field, lining that, and then while that's, you know, somewhere down here, wherever I can reach, that's just barely touching. So, and then I'll just kind of go through and, you know, it's just barely sitting on there, but I just want to make sure that that gap is the same all the way across the top. That hole's where I want it, and then I'll just start pushing it down, making sure there's no wrinkles or anything. So, then do the other side. And now that that side's in, please tell me you have art blade protectors. Put that on there, so that way we can push the play field up against it. Kind of do the same thing on the left. My other one's up here. So, there we go, almost done. Okay, took this art blade back off so I can kind of show you. But line that hole where it goes. Make sure you got the same gap all the way down to the other end. That's all there is to it. So, and then I just barely, I mean, it's sticky, so, you know, just barely touch it on there. And then once you make sure you're happy with it, you know, I just kind of use my hand, if you want, some people put like a microfiber cloth on like the end of like a putty knife, not a putty knife, but like a putty spreader, like a credit card kind of thing. Put a microfiber towel on there and just kind of, you're basically just going around just rubbing it, making sure you really press that all on. And here's the UV kit all installed. So we're doing good. I'm gonna put that plastic protector back on. And then at this point we are, oh, another thing I was gonna do, since this doesn't have any magnets, I'm not gonna install the stern balls that it came with. I'm going to get some of my chrome ninja balls that I have, and basically like degrease those because they got a layer of like oil on them. Clean those up and put those in here instead. So, and then, yeah, it's gonna need updated and stuff, but like you hear me say in all my other videos, it's a little after 7 o'clock, so I'm going AM. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, go have breakfast, stuff like that, and I'll be back down here. So it looks like we are going to be able to play this today, depending on updates. Play this before I have to leave at like 11 to go to Troy's. So maybe I'll upload this before I leave today. So, see you later. Okay, got it all powered up, everything works. Well, I haven't started a game or anything like that yet, but at first it had a couple of node boards not found because I forgot the coin door's open. You got to pull out on the switch. So that took me a minute to remember. So I guess I need to put the apron cards on. Right now I have that one hanging down. I think what I'm going to try to do for now is just take that reader off, take that little hole off, and maybe just kind of make a little plastic bracket or something to put it behind there to where at least it's in the right location for now so friends can use it. And then I'll worry about ordering that little adapter. Ooh, I got to make sure that, hopefully that Cat 6 will reach. So we'll see. Or whatever, I don't know if it's Cat 6 or whatever it is, a little Ethernet cable. Another thing I just did, this is a set of Ninja balls. Just put these in a bag of Dawn, cleaned them off, scrubbed them, stuff like that. So those are all shiny and new, but I need to put the playfield in first. So let me go ahead and do that, and then T-trim. That's pretty much all I'm going to do this morning. And then tomorrow, you know, I'll move it in the other room and get some gameplay video of it. But figure we'll go ahead and start wrapping up this. Let me lower the playfield, do the scanner, and then we'll work on T-trim. Okay, here it is. I'll go ahead and actually, let me do this. Should go all the way off. Yeah, whatever. So everything is done. The only thing left would be put the voodoo glass in it and move it into the other room. I did try out a couple different color head trim. Ended up, red looks good, but it's next to Black Knight, and Black Knight has red. So just kind of change it up a little bit. If we go into diagnostics, lamp, sorry, let me say that work. So we're good there. So we're all set. Let's go ahead and, I mean, I guess I can go ahead and, actually, I want to check something real quick. Total balls played, 0. Total extra, 0. Extra ball percentage, replay. Everything is okay. Lifetime says 2. I haven't done anything yet, so that must have been them practicing or something. I don't know, but total play is 0. So there you go. It's not level or anything like that, but okay, that'll be the end of this video. Play video will be in a couple days.